All right, everybody, it's day 16, and I'm still hanging in there. So, I want to give you just a brief update and then a few tips for you to help you on your weight loss journey, of course. Now, I screwed up. I, and this is regarding my weigh in. So, what I did when I first measured or weighed myself was I had it on my gym floor, which is a rubber matting. So, I took it upstairs to hardwood floors, and there's about a 3 pound difference in from this gym matting to the hardwood floor. So my measurements were not exactly accurate, and with that scale, my body weight is I'm sorry, my body fat measurements are they're very inconsistent. I measured 3 different times on the 2 different surfaces, and it's giving me crazy readings. So one of the things to keep in mind is that the numbers the numbers don't really tell the full story. That it's all nice to say, oh, I lost this much, but what really matters is, yes, the body fat, but how your clothes fit is a little more important, as well as how do you look in the mirror. So how do you feel? How are your clothes fitting, and how do you look? Because that'll tell everything. So you see my before picture, and you're going to see the after picture in less than a week, and that'll be next Monday. And you're going to be astonished at the results, and that's going to speak for itself. So regardless of what the scale weight says, now I didn't really lose this past week, lose weight, body weight in a sense, but I did visibly gain a little more muscle. So I I would, and my body fat I know has gone down because I could see the difference in the mirror. So you'll definitely see that next Monday. One thing that I'd say you need to really you should expect, and you need to be able to deal with, are setbacks. Setbacks are they're going to happen. The most common one I would say is plateauing. So that's when you're going on your weight loss, your body transformation, and then all of a sudden, after all these gains, everything comes to a screeching halt. You're losing no more. It definitely gets very frustrating, and it's what they call a set point. There might be other words for it, but this is when your body wants to stay at a certain weight, and you're doing everything right, and you're just not going anywhere. So these set points can be very frustrating. Sometimes they last a few days. They could last up to 3 weeks. I sat 3 weeks, about 3 to 4 weeks one time in a set point where nothing. I was eating right. I was exercising right. I tightened everything up, and I just did not see any gains. So a lot of people at that point have the tendency to reduce the calories, do some drastic things to kind of jumpstart the metabolism. You got to be careful with this. The best thing to do that I've found is to make sure you're eating right first and foremost. That you're eating the right amount of calories below your maintenance level, and also you're not consuming a lot of processed foods, sugars, grains, things like that. And usually the training's not the problem. You could throw in a little more low impact cardio, or even intervals. I wouldn't do intervals too much, just for reasons I'll get to in later videos. But intervals are definitely a great way to shed fat, like sprinting and some of the high intensity interval training that I show on some of my videos. But doing too much of that it could very well lead to overtraining, especially if you're doing a resistance training program while you're doing the high intensity interval training. So the best thing to do, like I mentioned before, is to just ride it out. And usually it's a couple weeks on average. Just stick with it. I know it's frustrating, but once you get through it, the the results are amazing. It's almost like overnight where you see where all of a sudden it's like, wow, I just lost like 5 pounds. Where'd that come from? And it's you drop the weight quickly right after you get through that set point. So just make sure you're doing everything. Your nutrition's on point. Your training's on point. You're not really slacking and having too many cheat meals, and you're not starving yourself. That's another big thing too. Is people want to just jack up cardio and eat less. That's going to send your body into starvation mode eventually, where it'll work against you. And I spoke a little bit about that on the last video. So that's basically what I wanted to share today. The next video, I'm going to get into some training. I know you guys have been waiting for some information on that, and I'll give some insights on resistance training. And you're looking at you're looking at what you need, all you need to do resistance training, and that's you, that's me, your body. That's all you really need. Plus, if you want to add a little bit more equipment, there are very affordable options. There's some homemade options you could use. Things as little as adjustable dumbbells and a Swiss ball or exercise ball. That's plenty to really get the right to get a resistance training program going and have it be very effective. So I'll definitely get more on that, or give more on that on my next videos. And I'm going to keep going even after my 21 days. So I have a lot of great things to share, a lot of exciting news coming up that will be of benefit to you, because one of my missions now is to help educate people, because the food and the whole food system out there is just, it's working against us. And I could go on and on about this, but it's really, it's bad. It's really bad. So I'll reveal a lot of things that you may have heard of, some that you might not have heard of. This is one of my passions, is to really help educate others on the importance of nutrition, and how nutrition is really the cornerstone to life. So we'll get more into that in later videos, and give you some great resources that you could check out, and increase your knowledge in this area as well. So all right, so that's it. That's all I got for tonight, and I will see you on the next video. Take care of yourselves.